Greetings once more from Shelf for Life Book Reviews Online. This time out, I would like to bring to your attention 3 great fiction reads that are very highly recommended. The very first one is Dark Roads by CHEVY Stevens. This is published by St. Martin's Press and it retails for $37.99. If you like books that are serial killer thrillers, this definitely is one of them. It involves a stretch of roads, Cold Creek Highway area, where women have been mysteriously disappearing for years. One of those girls is Amy Chevalier. She disappeared, and her sister Beth is coming back to the town to attend a memorial service. The townspeople are, there's some interesting people there, let's put it that way. And the police chief, or one of the police officers, Vaughn, is a very creepy character, and actually a friend of Beth and Amy's named Haley. She lives with her aunt, and her aunt's boyfriend is Vaughn, and she gets the impression that she learns that he is taking pictures of her while she's asleep. So the police officer is very corrupt, and there's a lot of secrets with that regard. So Beth goes to work at a local diner because she's come to town, she has no money, and she just wants to make ends meet. So as she finds out, the owner of the diner, he's a creepy guy too, so who is a friend of Vaughn, so it's all interconnected. So you're not sure what is happening really and who the killer is. You know Vaughn is not a good guy, and the man from the diner is not a good guy too. So CHEVY Stevens does an excellent job of keeping the actual killer a secret. And as we find out more and more things about the townspeople, we learn who really is the killer and why. And this book is, as the title implies, it's a dark, dark serial killer thriller mystery. So if you like your books dark and with a bit of psychological intensity as well too, into the mind of the actual killer and the people's reasons for doing the things they do. So anyways, that's the first book of note this week. The second book of note is Call Me Elizabeth Ark by Melissa COLASANTI. This is published by Crooked Lane and it retails for $36.99. It's an interesting story about a girl who goes missing 20 years ago. Her name is Charlotte, and she disappears on the beach when she's with her sister Gwen. No trace of her is ever found, so one would assume that someone has abducted her and ultimately killed her. Now, her mother Myra and her husband Herb run a bed and breakfast. And Myra has never given up hope that her daughter is still out there alive. So one day this girl comes into the bed and breakfast, and Myra swears that it is Charlotte 20 years down the road. The woman calls herself Elizabeth LARK. And the interesting thing is that she is wearing a necklace that Charlotte wore when she last disappeared. So that makes the mother, gives her hope that her daughter has returned from the dead, practically. Gwen, her sister, does not think it is her sister, Charlotte. In fact, she thinks this is an imposter, but this woman calls herself Elizabeth LARK. She is not saying she is Charlotte, and she's not giving them any false hope. Now, it appears that there are people in town who don't like this stranger who resembles the long-gone Charlotte. In fact, her picture is defaced, and ominous things begin happening around the city, all geared to Charlotte's disappearance 20 years ago. So it seems that the person who may have been responsible for her disappearance is coming for closure and to make sure no one finds the truth. So if you like your stories that are very, very intensely psychological and very dramatic, with characters that you can relate to and you really like and you root for, then Call Me Elizabeth Lark is definitely a book that you should add to your reading list. It is right to the last sentence It will keep you on the edge of your seat, and that's what a good book does. The third and final book this week of note that I would like to draw to your attention is In Her Tracks by Robert Dugoni. This is published by Thomas and Mercer, and it retails for $23.95. This is book 8 in the Tracy Cross-White series, which is a really interesting story. She's a police officer, and she's had a very unusual life. Her sister was murdered by a serial killer, and it took quite some time for her to get closure with that. She recently is back from an extended maternity leave. She has also had post-traumatic stress disorder as well too, so it took a little longer to come back. So when she returns, she finds that she has been replaced in her investigative crimes unit by Maria Hernandez. Her boss, Johnny Norelco, is not someone who is on her side. He's always been on her case, really. So he replaces her, and Tracy does not want to cry discrimination, so she lets it ride. But she is given a job in the cold cases crime unit, something that not a lot of people want. Her former boss quit that division. He retired. So she is given 2 cold cases, one involving a child that disappeared many years ago, Elle Chin, the child's name is. She was with her father, and he took her to a corn maze, and the child wanted to play hide and go seek and disappeared, and she has never been seen. So there's been a lot of suspicion of both the father and the mother, as the father and mother were going through a bitter divorce or separation at the time. So the question is, did the father is a police officer too, but he has been charged with assaulting his ex-wife. So it's very complex. The other cold case involves prostitutes who have gone missing. No one seems to care really, because they are ladies of the evening, and they think the police have a low priority for solving those kind of cases. So Tracy Cross-White teams with Kensington Rowe, who was her former partner. His nickname is Kin, K-I-N. And so the two start looking into the prostitution cases, and they find that there could be a big cover-up as to why the police did not want to solve those cases. In the meantime, Tracy Cross-White looks into the Elle Chin case, and she has a lot of her own theories. So there's a lot going on in the book. There's the 2 cases that they are simultaneously trying to solve, and there's a lot of mysterious things going on. And as we find out the person who killed the prostitutes and why, and we also find resolution to the Elle Chin case, which is something that you never expected. Though, as always, I'm not going to tell. So anyways, those are the 3 books this week. Definitely highly recommended, and I hope you will consider them when you are adding your titles to your reading list. So thank you once again for looking at Shelf Life videos online, and I hope you will continue to send us your comments, which I do appreciate very much. So once again, stay social distancing, stay safe, stay sane, and stay in touch, and we'll talk real soon. Bye for now.